Okay, so welcome to the CCEA GCSE English language video that focuses on explaining to all of you exactly what is on each section of your exam paper. So you're going to get two exams, paper 1 and paper 2, and this is one of the most common questions that I get asked, like without fail, on a daily basis, no matter how many times I tell kids. So paper 1, section A, is called Writing for Purpose and Audience, which is basically a fancy way of saying that they're expecting you to write a persuasive essay. It is worth 87 marks. Okay, so something along the lines of being asked to write, I don't know, say a magazine article on why celebrities are bad role models for young people to aspire to be like. They will give you a specific form to write in, for example, blog, speech, letter, newspaper article, and you don't have to adhere really rigidly to the stylistic expectation. So if it's a letter, please don't waste loads of time coming up with an address. It's just a brief nod to that style. So dear whoever, and then finish it off with your signing off sincerely or faithfully or whatever. If it's a magazine article, do not write in columns, please. Just have, I don't know, subheadings or some sort of snappy alliterative headline. Okay? If it's a speech, mention who you're talking to, so fellow classmates. Section B is quite interesting in that actually you've got 4 questions on section B. Okay? You have tasks 2 and 3, which are going to be based on a piece of non-fiction writing, most likely travel writing. And the main focus is analysing writer's craft. So task 2, you have to pick out things like simile, metaphor, alliteration, onomatopoeia, and explain the intended impact on the reader. Task 3, you have to summarise and put in your own words. So please do not copy word for word from the text. And it's laid out quite awkwardly in that it's not your standard essay, so you have to come up with like your 2 reasons, and then you have to have your explanations and examples in a different section. So please have a look at the exam paper or the sample materials so you can see how it's laid out. It does not require you to pinpoint language techniques. It's kind of like a summarising exercise if you think of it that way. Okay, then tasks 4 and 5 are going to be on a media text. So the task 4 is going to be like, I don't know, the blurb from the back of a book cover, or maybe a promotional piece from a website or brochure or leaflet. And you have to again pick out the persuasive techniques that have been used. So simile, metaphor, blah, blah, blah. And it's basically a PEE chain essay. Task 5 then is all about the presentational elements, so colour, layout, images and font. And you have to pick out 2 of these. So if it's a leaflet on a theme park, you could talk about the shot type or the camera angle or what's in the content of the image itself. So if it's a really scary looking roller coaster, the fact that it's clearly trying to target people who are interested in adventure and thrill seekers, or if it's, you know, a picture of the teacups and a mum and dad and child all holding hands, it's trying to emphasise that it's family friendly. Again, you're most likely going to get a book cover or some sort of leaflet or brochure or something from a website, okay? And again, the focus is explaining how this is in any way enticing or persuasive or entertaining. Then we look at paper 2, section A. You have the option of either creative writing or personal writing, and you only do one. It is out of 88. Doesn't really matter which one you do, play to your own strengths. However, I've generally found that most people are stronger at the personal writing because you're not eating up valuable time that you have in an exam situation where it is stressful, thinking about too much, because if it's personal, it's something that's already happened to you. Not to mention the fact that you can always prepare something. So you could prepare like a place, a person, a thing, some sort of experience, object. So something along the lines of my most worthwhile experience, or an experience that started out horrible but then ended up being really valuable or worthwhile. my favourite person, my favourite place, things like this are the general kind of questions that are going to come up. With the creative, it's going to be a picture stimulus, so please focus on the picture they have provided. Again, they're looking for ways that you're going to hook your reader. So obviously spelling, punctuation and grammar count, but they're looking for how well you can build imagery, how well you can use a rhetorical question or dialogue for effect, considering your tone and how your tone can engage the reader. So it's very similar things they're looking for. Then for section B, it is comparing literary texts and non-fiction. Task 2 is going to be 2 extracts from some sort of novel or 2 different novels, and it'll ask you some sort of question on like atmosphere, setting, character, where you have to consider the similarities and the differences between the 2 texts, and there are videos showing you this style of question that will come up on my YouTube channel. Then tasks 3 and 4, again there's a video. It's basically quite similar to paper 1 section B tasks 3 and 4, except this time it's not going to be travel writing. It's going to be some sort of really heavy opinion piece. So something like Jeremy Clarkson whinging about, I don't know, climate change or education or whatever else he has opinions on, and what doesn't he have an opinion on. And that's not me slagging him off, I actually think he's very witty, but he is opinionated and he's controversial. Or it could be something like, I don't know, how technology is ruining young people, how video games are violent and they ruin family time. Or it could be maybe an article along the lines of how onesies are a ridiculous fashion statement. And I've stolen most of these ideas because they are old, previous specification things that have come up. It could talk about social media, I don't know, it could be any topic, but regardless of the topic, tasks 3 and 4 are always going to be from the same article. The task 3 is going to be from early on, and task 4 is going to be from later on in the same article. Both the questions, regardless of what they ask, are basically looking for how the writer has entertained you or persuaded you in some way. So it's going to be PEE chains, essentially. Please make sure that you mention the question terms, that you stay focused, that you quote from the passage, and above all else, make sure that you're focusing on the techniques. So things like tense, narrative point of view, use of assertion, strong and restrained opinion, anecdote, rhetorical question, simile, metaphor, shocked disbelief tone, even something like sentence structuring and punctuation for effect. So if it uses brackets, is that to build rapport and create some sort of witty aside? If it uses ellipses, is that to build suspense or lead up to some sort of big reveal or shock you? So please do look at all of these different factors, and again, there's a video showing you how to do this. Hopefully that's kind of helped clear things up. So just to recap, you've got paper 1 section A, some sort of persuasive essay, paper 1 section B, travel writing and your analysis of it, and then a media text and your analysis of it. Paper 2 section A, either creative or personal, and paper 2 section B, comparing to literary texts, aka to extracts from different novels, and analysing a piece of non-fiction. Hopefully this helps, and all the best in your GCSEs.